My research focuses specifically on studying amphibian diversity and trying to understand the sort of broad scale patterns of diversity in terms of species and diversity in terms of biologies across the entire tree of life for living frogs. So there's more than 6,500 species of living frogs, so that's more frogs than mammals for those of you keeping count. And if you actually look across the diversity of living frogs, one really exciting part is that every week we're actually discovering new species. So on average, the scientific community discovers about 150 new species of amphibians every year. Almost all of those are frogs. And while we're adding a new species to the list of species we know about, every time we find a new species, we're also adding all the biology that that species encompasses. So what I have here is a 3D printout of the skull of one of these species. And this is really neat because if you look at it, this is not a toy, a replica that was made just by an artist's interpretation. This is actually made using a micro CT scanner, which is essentially taking two-dimensional X-rays and then reconstructing it as a 3D volume to show, in this case, the skull of this animal that in general is very poorly known. The exciting part is not only can we use that data for describing species, for knowing more about the anatomy and diversity of these animals, but we can also print it like this, give it to an 8-year-old, we can give it to colleagues around the world, we can share those data just electronically with colleagues, and it makes the impact of our scientific collections much larger because there's a direct connection to other scientists that we can share those data very easily, sometimes more easily than the actual specimens, and we can also use these as products of our research that we can, hand to a 6-year-old. One of the things that I think is most exciting about science is the fact that we tell cool stories, we find amazing things, and we can really help inspire kids, adults to care about the natural world around them, right? And to the extent to which we find out cool things about animals and tell people about it,